I am batching my content, which means that I'm making a bunch of episodes at once for you, and which means I'm still in the same outfit as the last episode, and I'm still not wearing my, signature matte lipstick because my lips are really dry. It is that time of year. I'm really hot because my radiator, which is right down here, is making me sweat. So we're just not going to change shirts. And I think you've learned by now that this is my favorite shirt because you keep seeing it a lot. I promise I wash it though every week. I promise. Okay, let's get started with the episode. Okay. Hey, this is my 31st episode. Whoa. And because I'm currently 31, I decided it would be a great episode to do on the legit joys of getting older and how truly any age is the right age to start whatever and wherever you want. And my sister will have just turned 30 on Christmas Eve by the time this episode goes live. But since her name is Christy, we call the 24th Christy Miss. And the 23rd, therefore, is Christmas Eve. And she has a mini Christmas tree that we put her presents under, and she hangs Scar, like from the Lion King ornaments on it because she's just a villain at heart. You think I'm kidding, but I'm actually not. So getting older and age are top of mind for me, alongside seeing more articles pop up everywhere, honestly, today about how it's labeled a geriatric pregnancy for women giving birth in their 30s, a term which essentially labels it healthcare for old people. Y'all. So needless to say, this topic is top of mind. 30s are not old, by the way, but society can make us feel that way with every passing year, no matter how old you get. And there's this interesting stigma around getting older, no matter if you're 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 or 70. We could Mad Libs here, throw out a number, 89. I could go on forever, but people make it out like aging is a terrible thing sometimes. But if I could show you how fully wiser I am a decade after I turned 21, oh my gosh. The difference for me is astronomical. And if you are 21, you're a very different, wiser person than you were at 11 also, right? Like, think back a decade. I'm sure at 41, I'll look back on today, me sitting here recording, and have the same thought about my current self. But it doesn't matter how old or young we are when it comes to how we view ourselves and what is attainable for our lives at our age. But it doesn't matter how we view that as in ourselves, but what's attainable for us at whatever present age we're at is an important view that we need to have. So I've seen 65-year-old women pick up heavy weightlifting for the first time. I've seen teenagers start cool companies. In fact, I've seen children invent brand new things that they sell. Your age does not define you, and it is not a liability. Just watch some really great Shark Tank. Your age is an asset, no matter how far you scroll to find your birth year, like a long time for me, on forms you're filling out online. You still have the opportunity to make the most of where you are in life and where you want to go. And as I've worked on setting up a business, even if it's starting small or looking like a side hustle at the beginning, I've read so many stats that the older women get, the higher the chance of success of their businesses they start to keep going and be successful. It's encouraging sometimes because I'm like, oh, I'm not yet what people classify as middle-aged, so I'll just keep getting better at business maybe. But this age is also closer to middle age than when I started my first business. Yes, I had a business before and decided it was going to close. I closed it within a quarter because I didn't love what I was doing, and it was print, but we didn't have like Amazon Kindle printing. So this was a little over 5 years ago. And that's the wild thing about entrepreneurs too. If you're entrepreneurial, is they have a few failed businesses or business ideas before they find the one that truly fits them and thus has more opportunity to be successful. failure in your younger years or even yesterday are really important steps that point you to see what isn't meant for you, or really highlight it, and can help point you instead in the right direction and help you move even faster toward what it is you are meant for and what's meant for you and all the success that can come along with it. You can start anything at any age. There are stats like the one I just brought up, but that doesn't mean that even if it's not as common for you to achieve what you want at the age you're at, statistically, there are always exceptions. That's how the statistics get formed. We're not a clone of anyone else, and the stars tend to align with what aligns best to who we really, truly are. I really, truly believe that what is meant for you is also looking for you just as hard. So we want to run toward it too and remove those obstacles that are in its way so it can get to us faster, right? It's hard for some to believe that, and if that's you, it's okay. But trust me that when you prepare the way for what you want in your life and you run toward it and you make an inviting environment for it to stay and hang out in once you have it, by working on yourself and being the person who has and keeps things like that, it'll be there before you know it, and it will hang around. Yes, you are putting in effort, but isn't it true that it's a lot easier to find someone to date when you actively search on apps and veto all the fish holders? Sorry, not sorry. Instead of hoping they'll drop from the sky like it's raining men, or fueling your body with good things when you've previously put healthy things into your fridge and maybe meal prepped even good meals. So when you're hungry, you make great choices because you made those choices earlier before you even had to make them. That now sets you up for success. This is slightly a tangent, but I love this part of Atomic Habits by James Clear. He says, what looks like talent is often careful preparation. He says, the people with the best self-control are typically ones who need to use it the least. It's easier to practice self-restraint when you don't have to use it very often. So yes, perseverance, grit, and willpower are essential to success, but the way to improve those qualities is not by wishing you were a more disciplined person, but by creating a more disciplined environment. Great quote. What he means is that when you make it easy for yourself to succeed, so when you plan ahead for your meals, when you plan time in your busy schedule to work toward your goals, when you decide what you will and will not tolerate in how someone treats you before you match with them, or you go on a first date with them, or even spend any time with them, you will make it so much easier in the moment of a temptation to pursue growth toward your goals over your comfort in the moment, or just making a decision because you haven't thought about it before. You can make it so much easier for yourself to succeed by clearing the way for success to come and for you to make great choices in any given moment, truly to set yourself up for success. When you know what you want, and sometimes even it's helpful to know what you don't want, it makes it easier to aim at the target that you've pre-established instead of having to make it up on the spot and decide under pressure what's best to do and how to get there. If I'm driving from New York to California, this is always my example, I know my target and that it will take me longer to get there if I'm going to California from New York if I decide to take a detour up through Canada. Opposite direction. It's going to take me longer to get there if I don't know where I'm going and the stops I want to hit along the way, for spending less money on hotels or where I want to eat, all those things. But all that to say, there is this beauty in getting older and being more experienced in life. Yes, there is absolutely baggage we have to work out and trauma we need to process that comes with time and the more we've experienced, but that can all guide us to make the wisest decision possible at whatever age we're at. And when we get older, we can look forward to knowing how to make even better decisions because we'll be more informed. So that means we can make those more informed decisions for our lives. It's like Maya Angelou said, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. So when you're older, you will know better. But hey, why not try your best today where you're at with what you have? You can go wherever you want to go. The world is your oyster. And you can also totally cheat and learn from older, wiser people or younger, wiser people or same age, wise people who have experienced or done what you want to do and can learn from them to get where you want to go even faster. Age is not a matter in that. Now, my favorite thing about getting older, though, that people had mentioned, but I never realized I actually felt until I turned about 28. I remember that day specifically on my birthday. But the thing I learned is that as you get older, you really do care less about what others think of you if you're lucky. And it's pretty natural too. So that was the most freeing thing for me because it releases you to be whoever you are authentically without caring as much what other people think of who you are. And you realize that the things that people perhaps put you down for are the things you are so proud of yourself that you have, and things sometimes they wish they had too. For example, I was in a relationship with someone once who is my friend now, and one of their least favorite words was, and probably still is, whimsy. Bob Goff's favorite from Love Does. They were fun in their own way, but much less willing to partake in anything that had to do with what they perceived as childish joys. And I've shared before, I'm a full-on Disney adult with no shame. My favorite place to be is literally the happiest place on earth, and I'm not kidding you. I love it. And you can legit judge me for that, and I don't mind, because I know that there's something else that brings you more joy that I probably don't enjoy as much either. And that's cool. We're all individuals. You do you. And that way you won't crowd Disneyland when I try and go. But I loved in that time of that relationship how whimsical I was. And I felt my light dimming and thus my joy dimming. And the authentic person I was going into protective hiding until I felt like I was walking on eggshells, because I didn't feel like I could be who I truly was around that person at that time. Again, we're friends now, but we are not in that type of relationship because it wouldn't be in a healthy way, because I never felt like who I was entirely could be loved entirely by that person. And that's okay, that's preference, but now I don't care and I am who I am. And whoever in my life spends time with me, including that person now, knows that full well I'm going to enjoy who I am and celebrate them for who they are. And I consequently take less crap from people who are trying to dim my light. I live a life of whimsy because it's who I am and it makes me happy. I also have a full episode on whimsy too, if you want to listen to that, how to live a more whimsical life. Don't let your light dim for others, but do create a space where they can shine brightly as their most authentic selves. It makes a huge difference. Now, I also learned as I got older that the things people gossip about others about are often there because they see that person hold up a mirror to them. And I've had a good friend recently do a ton of cool stuff, but some of their other friends made fun of the cool stuff they did. But the whole thing is this: it actually highlighted to those people that they weren't fulfilling their dreams like that person was. That person was and is still going for it hard. And I am so proud of them and love to see them win. Be the person who loves to see others win. People who are jealous of someone working toward their dreams, who will talk badly about you when you achieve things, is typically, if not always, someone who wishes they could do that for themselves too. You're just showing them they're not right now. There is enough for all of us, and we should use each other's accomplishments at whatever age or whatever stage of our lives we're at to celebrate each other and show each other it's possible for all of us to win too. When you climb that ladder, You have the unique ability to reach down and help others up the rungs too. Those are just some of the things I've learned, but I hope you know you don't have to dim your light to make other people comfortable. There are so many people who need your light and for whom it will illuminate all the incredible possibilities they have in their lives too, because they saw you do it first and you're illuminating the possibilities for them. And if they're the same age as you, or older or younger, it'll show them what is possible at any age and stage of your life. Throughout the years of living with yourself every day, you also get to learn who you are, and it's like being in a relationship. There are fun things you didn't know about yourself until you tried them. You're like, wow, I really like that random thing. For some people, it's escargot. I feel like that's a popular one. I don't know if I've ever tried it. Probably not. I'd remember. Maybe you realize you like a new food that you've never tried before like that. Maybe you enjoy a sport you've never played until now, like pickleball, which I personally still don't understand the craze. And I literally just saw people playing in the park on my walk earlier. Per usual, that court's always got people in it, but it's not my thing, but I can celebrate people for having found their thing if pickleball's it or whatever it is. But we're constantly growing and evolving, and we get to see ourselves open up and blossom throughout our lives, and that is so exciting. You will know yourself better tomorrow than you do today. And as you age, you will get to discover even more about yourself. There are so many joys in life that you don't even know yet that you love and will be yours to enjoy once you experience them. And if you're going through a hard time right now, or you feel really lost and you don't know where you want to go, know that you will find your path and you will experience new, better joys coming in the coming days and years. It's good to talk about what you're really feeling alongside knowing that there will also be better days. And when we take time to process what we're feeling and why we're feeling that way now, especially when it's not as fun ways we're feeling, we can free ourselves from that burden of carrying it into our older ages when we tackle the real issue and stop it from becoming bitterness toward this life you get to live. So I debated sharing this, but I have a terrible neighbor who will never watch this. Otherwise, I would never say this out loud. But he's so awful toward others, including me. And my strategy is to kill with kindness always. But I see that his life and the things in it have worn him down. And he has a lot of baggage and sorrow. And what I try to remember with people like him is that no one who is truly happy treats others in that massively unkind way. They probably believe all people are as awful as the person who hurt them, which is another reason I'm kind to them. As the saying goes, hurt people hurt people, but also don't healed people heal people. The more you heal as you get older, the more you can offer wisdom to those younger or older who are going through what you are for the first time or other things you've been through. And we've all been through some hard stuff, some really hard stuff. And that hard stuff doesn't have to win and become bitterness, and it doesn't have to have a room reserved in the future home you want. It doesn't have to have a seat at the wedding to the person of your dreams you'll have someday. It doesn't have to have space in your life at all. It won't allow you to be fully who you are in all of your truest, purest, most amazing glory if you let it stop you. Tell it off. And I know that's easier said than done, but when it comes to the person you are and what the person you want to become looks like, the older you get, truly the more you will, hopefully, as is many people's experience, be so much more comfortable and accepting and loving of who you really are authentically. And when you know who you really are, other people won't have influence over convincing you you're someone different who does things that your truest self wouldn't, and thus robs you of living your life as your authentic self. And it's easier to say no when you know what you're saying yes to. Who do you want to be? It doesn't matter how old, how young, how middle-aged, how unclassified you are, whatever gen you are. Even if people label those with all sorts of the American and Greek alphabet, who receive certain types of healthcare at your age, geriatric? See, I can't even say it. I just did, but you get to choose, and time is on your side. There is time. It's limited at some point, sure, but wouldn't you rather start today, making the most of it, than putting it off for later when you have less time to make the impact you really want to? And so cool, the time that you've experienced is also on your side, like what you've learned in the past. The more you've lived, no matter how old you are, can teach you wisdom about how you want to live and move forward. You get to decide now to be in control of how you plan your time and how you pursue your goals and how much control haters have over you or not, because this is your life. I love this quote by Mary Oliver. What is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? The most timeless question. I'll also highlight that she asked what you plan to do. And if you plan it, whatever it is, you can do it, no matter what stage or age of your life you're in. I have loved aging. It sounds so funny coming from a 31-year-old, but the older I get, the more I know myself and what I want for myself going forward. I know what brings me joy and who I am, and that I'll be so much happier if I pursue those things over dwelling over the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the very ugly of my younger years. And I use those things as fuel instead to do better now that I know better for myself and for others. And when I experience similar hardships like heartbreak again, or depression again, or other hard things again, I know how to better tackle them this time around. So what do you want for your one wild and precious life? The good and bad news, but mostly good news is it's up to you, and you get to dream it and go get it. But I am happy to be here for you every step of the way with encouragement at the ready, because this is who I am, and I can't wait to see how brightly you shine at whatever age you're at in the full fabulousness and authenticity of who you really are. So, as always, go and make me proud, and most importantly, go and make yourself proud. You're doing great, sweetie. Bye for now. And I'm so glad, because I'm going to show you something honest, okay? You're going to see an authentic moment of me. You are propped up right now as I'm filming on, and I can't show you because you're propped on it, but you are propped on a shoebox, and in that shoebox are things to do my own nails, and I do nail extensions. So it's my second time doing them. They need to be redone again, and I might just go to normal nail to let them heal for a moment, but I have, it took me 6 hours the first time I did it, 3.5 the next time. I'm hoping it's less this time. But as I was changing into something more comfortable, I don't know if you've ever done this, if you have nails or extensions, but just like this part caught on something, and the part where it is glued to my nail as the extension just, I don't know what it did underneath my nail. I'm probably gonna have to find out tonight after this filming, but I'll show you. I did my own nails, and they look good from afar, hopefully. But if you look really closely, friends, like look at that middle one, not trying to flip you the finger, but it's not perfect. Can we see that? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So it looks good from here. Yep. Great. But when I put it up here, you see the reality there. That may need a little love. Like, look at that guy's little cricket. Anyway, I don't know why. I just decided to add a little bit of flair here, and I know you just want to see Kippen, so I'll go get her. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on the podcast. If you want to learn more, find the show in its video format, or see more resources for encouragement in living your best life as the truest version of who you are, feel free to stop by juliebethany.com or come hang out with me on social media on Instagram at Julie Bethany. And feel free to pass this along to anyone who might benefit from the message today too, and share the love and show them their dreams are possible too. Have a great rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you next time.